The Artist Spotlight, shining a spotlight on Christian artists, their music and their hearts.
Hello and welcome to the Artist Spotlight. Aaron Brown with you this week, and always excited to introduce you to Aussie music or some musos that perhaps you haven't necessarily heard of yet. And this week, well, it might not sound like she's an Aussie, but she is. We've got the wonderful Amelia Gardner with us.
Hello.
How you going, Amelia?
I'm great. Thank you, Aaron.
And now, of course, you do have an American accent because you're originally out of America.
Yes.
Tell us, so from San Diego, I believe?
That is right. California, Southern California.
And, of course, home of Switchfoot, we were just talking about
That's
before.
right.
So does that set a pretty high bar for you?
Yes. There's lots of great Christian music artists that have come out of San Diego. So Phil Wickham's come out of San Diego. You got Switchfoot. Can't think of anyone else at the moment, but yeah, great music.
And now Amelia Gardner.
Yeah.
And you were actually
Cool.
saying that you used to, your church that you used to go to there, Switchfoot actually used to lead worship there.
Yes, they used to lead worship on Wednesday nights, our Wednesday night service. So, yeah, we all knew that it wasn't going to last too long because they were going to go and travel all the world and sing the new music, but we loved it while it lasted.
Yeah, fantastic.
It was great.
Well, let's kick things off with our 60-second challenge, which is
Okay.
for maybe listeners who don't know who you are. It's kind of
Sure.
a 60-second wrap-up of who is Amelia Gardner.
Okay. Amelia Gardner, American, so from California. I love the beach. I love sunsets. I love dogs. Shout out to my puppy Teddy. I love singing. I could sing all day. I just love singing. I love caring for people and leading them in worship. And I have an amazing husband, Daniel, and amazing family, and I'm an only child. And I like to eat pizza and ice cream, and I like to shop.
Fantastic. There you go. Well done. Well done. You're on the Artist Spotlight, and we're chatting with Amelia Gardner. And Amelia, you actually have a brand new album out, which is really exciting, called
Yeah.
One Cause.
Yeah.
It is album number 2 for you. Look, what's the heart of this album? Is there a particular theme or something running through it, or just a collection
Definitely.
of your latest songs?
No, I mean, it is definitely a collection of the latest songs. I mean, that's true, but there really is a theme from the title track of being One Cause, and then the album being One Cause. Was really, my heart was just for us as Christians to all come together, to have a real unity, and to, obviously we're going to have our different, differences and things like that. But I love that verse when it talks about that God commands a blessing when we're unified, and I just think, if these songs can bring, different people from, different journeys in their walk with God and can bring them together, like that's my heart for this album, and what I really pray, that, people will be listening to it from all different kinds of backgrounds and churches, and from Pentecostal to, more conservative or whatever, but that they would really find it as the glue, like a glue, to bring them together. So, yeah, unity is really the heart of the album.
Let's talk about another song from your new album, One Cause now. It's called Caught in Your Love. Tell us a bit about this song.
Yeah, so this was actually a song that Greg, the producer, wrote. And so, such a great song, and it was so good to work with him on it. But, this song is really about being just immersed in God's presence and how it can feel like you're caught up in, I've been caught up in an earthquake, I guess, like coming from California.
Yeah.
You're pretty used to earthquakes. So, just that, his power and his might, it's so mighty, being caught up in a hurricane, being caught up in, and like his presence can feel like that. It can just be all consuming, and it's just amazing. But he's also in that still small voice, and in, where it's not, a bunch of movement, but it's actually in that stillness. So I just love that it's just about being caught up with him and being immersed in his love.
The Artist Spotlight.
I am caught up in your gravity, pulled into the warmth of your embrace. I am caught up in a landslide, covered by the mountains of your love. Surrounded by the fullness of you, God. I am caught up to my knees. Your love washes me clean.
You're on the Artist Spotlight. We're chatting with Amelia Gardner. Now, let's talk about how you ended up in Australia. Can you take us back? How did you end up here from San Diego?
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is God. He called me to Australia actually when I was 15 years old. So I had an exchange student from here, and it was actually the year that the Olympics were on. And so everything was about Sydney and about Australia, and I just like fell in love with it through the TV. I was just like, wow, I want to go to the beautiful beaches, and loved the accent and koalas and kangaroos. I was like, oh, this place is amazing. So like a lot of Americans say, they say, oh, I really want to visit Australia. Like, really want to go there. But not many people actually like come here because they think it's too far away.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just kind of dreamed about like visiting, not ever like living at that point. But God just, as I started to really grow my relationship with Him, God really just started to put a burden on my heart for Australia, and specifically for the youth of Australia. And whenever I'd see anything about Australian TV or a movie or anything, I just was like, there's just like this deep kind of burden and this desire, and I was like, okay, this is more than just like going to be a visit or vacation. Like, I really feel like this is a long-term kind of thing. So went to Bible college after high school, so I did that, and then I worked at my church for a couple of years, but that desire was still there, but it was just the timing wasn't right. So I ended up waiting actually 7 years before I came onto Australia soil. So 7 years of waiting and praying and building that calling, and then came, and I've got this photo actually of taking the first bit of land that I saw. I took a photo of it from the airplane, and I just felt like home. Like, it was just like this connection of, oh, this is home, which is, it's so weird. Like, it's supernatural because it's not a natural thing to be so far away, being an only child. And I mean, I used to get homesick, like staying at my grandparents' house, and that was like half an hour away. Like, one night I was like, okay, I'm ready to go back with mom and dad, you know? But I've just never felt homesick. Like, this is home for me. So, so it started as just a desire to come here to visit. And then it was like, no, this is where I want to live. And then met my husband, and we built a house, and we got a puppy, and I'm here. So
The future is bright ahead of you.
Yeah. So now it's almost been 10 years that I've been here.
Wow.
So yeah, it's flown by.
You're on the Artist Spotlight. We're chatting with Amelia Gardner and talking about her new album called One Cause. Now, this is a nearly impossible question, I know, but do you have a favourite song from the album, or one that you that just holds a super special place in your heart, or that you're most excited about?
It's such a hard question because all of them really mean a lot to me. Like, they really, these songs, I mean, I've had to sing them, like, tell my soul these songs because, they're the songs that when I'm feeling doubt or not sure, I find myself singing my own songs. So that's why I was saying that, how God kind of gives you these songs for others, I think, but for yourself first. So that's why it's really hard to pick a favorite. But at the moment, I would say Journey is probably my favorite. Because it was actually I had come to Australia for 6 months to do like a mission training school, and then God said, it's time to go home again. I was like, what? I am home. I want to stay here. I like it. I like it in Newcastle. And he's like, no, I want you to go home, and I want you to, I still had a car, and I still had things that I needed to kind of like loose ends to tie up and stuff. So I kind of went reluctantly. And he didn't say when I would be back. He didn't say when I would come back to Australia. So I was kind of like, couldn't really make any, decisions as far as like work. I had to kind of just nanny and kind of just do things to sort of, as I knew I was coming back to Australia, I just didn't know when. So in that time is when I wrote Journey, and it just talks about how you feel like you're almost locked up. You're almost like, what? Like, I'm confined, but it's a safety. Like, God He brings a safety in those times and a protection, and that His timing is perfect. And so, and it's interesting because the timing that I actually came back. So my husband Daniel was actually around at that time before I came to Australia, but then God had spoken to him about having a season away from the missions training that I was involved with. And so, God didn't want us to meet at that point. And so, I mean, you see it, hindsight is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, that's why you did that. Okay, you're good. Okay, you're God. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I trust you. But Journey was just that, and the chorus is, author and finisher, my beginning and end, in this journey. I'll take your hand, and it's just like, oh, you know what? Surrender, hands up. I'm yours. And time again, it's like you get in these situations and you just remember, like, God, you're in control. You're in control.
The Artist Spotlight.
Road stopped, all doors are locked, and I am here to stay. Where did this all begin and where does it end? Come on, let's move along. It's time for a new song. Author and finisher, my beginning and end. In this journey, I'll take your hand. Though this road looks distant and this road looks long, please ignore my resistance. This is where I belong. Road stopped, all doors are locked, and I am here to stay.
in the Artist Spotlight, and we're chatting with singer-songwriter Amelia Gardner. We're talking about her latest album, One Cause. What's your hope for the album? You know, you talked about it being like a unifying thing. What's the hopes that you have for it?
Well, so some of the songs are quite personal, I guess the kind of songs that I tend to write are more kind of like David songs, you know, like just where it feels like the world's falling apart and you're just, I'm not a drama queen, I tell you. I'm pretty even keel, but like, you know, like those days it's just rough, or the seasons, you know, and a lot of these songs have come from a season that's been quite challenging, quite difficult, but then coming to the realization that, you know, and one of the songs is, you know, never let go, you know, that he isn't going to let go of us, that he's not going to forget about us, you know, he didn't leave us in that place, and that, you know, like nothing's wasted in God. Like he's going to use it and use it for his glory, you know. So I really want people to, I guess, connect with the vulnerability and to be like, you know what, I'm putting voice and I'm putting words to those seasons. Because sometimes we can't find the words, or we just like, I don't know, it's just blah. I'm just going through a blah time. But I hope that I've been able to put a bit of language around those times, but then to encourage people and lift them up to point their, you know, the eyes to Jesus, to fix their eyes on Jesus, you know, that he is, you know, the author and finisher of our faith. Like he knows the big picture. He's got it all in his hands, you know. So I hope there's a vulnerability connection there, but also back to what I was saying before about unity, you know, that these songs can identify with anyone, you know, meet anyone where they're at, whether they're in a mountaintop season or they're in a desert season, that they can connect with it.
Well, let's talk more about that song, Never Let Go, that you just referenced. Tell us a little bit more about this song.
Yeah, so like I said, it was from an interesting season, a hard season, and to be honest, I'm not out of it. I'm still quite in the midst of it. So I guess sometimes with songs, I guess as being a songwriter, I guess that God sometimes gives us prophetically what, like, the future. So it's like we write these songs and then we're like, okay, it's gonna happen, right? Like you're gonna, you know, this is all gonna come back together, and it's just his timing, you know. So really in the midst of, we're still in the midst of it, and I don't want to like say what it is, because I really want, you know, we all go through different stuff, and I hope that the vulnerability will connect with people. But so I can just say, like, I'm still not out of it, but I see glimpses, and I see that God is still good in the midst of, you know, our darkest night, or our, you know, and our trial. Never let go is that, you know, that he is always there, and he is going to meet us where we're at, and meet us in our mess, meet us in our, you know, when we feel, I guess, the most alone or don't understand why things are happening the way they're happening. But I guess just trusting that, okay, well, I know that you're never going to let me go. So I'm going to just cling to that. If I can't see the answer right now, I'm going to cling that you're going to never let go of me.
The Artist Spotlight.
Feeling far away, but I know you always stay. Promises were made, but they look like they're about to fade. It's hard not to get impatient
on the Artist Spotlight, and we've been chatting with the lovely Amelia Gardner, singer-songwriter, and her new album is called One Cause. Now, if people want to find out a bit more about you and what you do, and how can they do that? Do you have a website, social media, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I'm on social media. So on Facebook, just Amelia Gardner, and then it's just music there.
Fantastic. Well, we do encourage people to check it out. Check out her latest album as well, which is called One Cause. Thank you so much for coming in to chat with us, Amelia.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
This has been the Artist Spotlight, shining a spotlight on Christian artists, their music and their hearts.